Guys, this class mod is a band-aid. Like, do you guys realize that? This class mod is a fix to Zane. It's an easy, put on this piece of gear and Zane works. Instead of going through each of his skill trees, going through each of his old class mods. For watching that with us, definitely. Oh yeah, if you guys want to talk about why I think Seein Dead shouldn't be nerfed. Why I think it shouldn't be nerfed. Because someone in chat said it should get nerfed because it's so much better than everything. I think it's case by case. When we talk about nerfs and buffs, there is definitely a power creep issue when it comes to Seein Dead. You know what I mean? So like Seein Dead is obviously overpowered. But why is that? What is the issue in this scenario? Well, in my opinion, in this scenario, it's just that everything else Zane has is actually underpowered. So that's what I mean. It's a case by case. Guys, this class mod is a band-aid. Like, do you guys realize that? This class mod is a fix to Zane. It's an easy, put on this piece of gear and Zane works. Instead of going through each of his skill trees, going through each of his old class mods. At this point, like using so much of the blue tree now, I think blue tree's fine. The balance of this skill tree, I think it's perfectly fine. Except for drone augments. The drone augments really need changed. The thing is, like Seein Dead, this effect, just the first effect, if you have this effect with no rolls on the top and no skills on the bottom, this effect alone is probably better than any class mod, any possible class mod you can use. Anti-freeze, everything. And I would like to see this kill skill bonus be put onto Seein Red. In my opinion, blue tree is fine. There is some sort of like rebalance and changes I would do with blue tree, but I think blue tree is fine. People talk about how Good Misfortune's too strong with Seein Dead. Let me tell you guys what I said about Good Misfortune before Seein Dead came out, and I still feel the exact same way. Basically, what I said about Good Misfortune is Zane has all these skills that give you action skill duration, right? So like that's what Good Misfortune does. That's what Almighty Ordnance does. That's what Techspert does. That's what Calm Cool Collected does. You have all of these different skills that give you action skill uptime, right? Well, the thing is, when you have all these different skills, some of them suck, like Almighty Ordnance and Techspert, and people just aren't going to use this, right? And then when you have a skill like Calm Cool Collected, which before Seein Dead came out, everybody played Calm Cool Collected. Why? Because this was the best version of this skill. Good Misfortune was a good skill before Seein Dead came out. It was a good skill, I'm going to be honest. But it was not on the level of Calm Cool Collected. Calm Cool Collected gave you infinite action skills. So when you have a choice to easily get infinite action skills on Zane, you're going to take that choice. So Good Misfortune is very redundant. How I would change this right now is instead of giving more duration, I would make it like Moses skilled Grizzled. You know, Grizzled on Mose, when you get a kill, you shave seconds off, or like head count. Head count actually takes seconds off. That's really good cooldown reduction. And it would actually make more sense in a Seein Red build, alternating between Clone and Barrier, because these are the shortest uptime and shortest cooldown skills. So when you activate one of these, it'll bring the other one back quicker. And on top of that, this makes more sense with Seein Red. Like, if you're getting more action skill uptime as a kill skill, you're gonna activate Seein Red less. Does that make sense? So if this gave cooldown, you would end up activating Seein Red more, because you would play a build that alternated between action skills. Zane's tree are full of anti-synergy, yeah. So those are my main changes to blue tree. Red and green tree just need full makeovers. All right. Red tree, everything is good. Pocket full of grenades is where the shit starts. Why the, like, bro, why do I have grenade regeneration on the character who doesn't use grenades? Someone explain this to me. Somebody tell me right now in chat. Somebody tell me why I have grenade regeneration. By the way, Boom Enhance is the only skill that requires pocket full of grenades. Duct Tape mod uses a grenade, but if you have 0 grenades, this skill still works. So this does not require a pocket full of grenades. Only Boom Enhance requires pocket full of grenades. So why do I have a skill that's just support to another skill. Why doesn't Boom Enhance use rocket ammo and Pocket Full of Grenades gives me rocket regeneration? Why not shotgun ammo and shotgun ammo regen? Like anything but grenades, bro. Remember using nade build back in the day? You never ran out of nades? No. This skill is amazing. I'm not saying this skill is bad. I'm just saying there's no synergy. There's no synergy. That's what I'm saying. Even Prey Munitus and Duct Tape Mod are kind of underwhelming skills, but these are fine. All the rest of the skills here are top tier. All the clone skills are top tier. Supersonic Man is great. Yeah, Like a Ghost is sharp. I don't know what to do to make this better. I'm open to suggestions. Because I'm gonna make a Zane V2, all the stuff that needs buffed. So if you guys have suggestions, I'm open to them. When it comes to Trick of the Light, just make this active if your clone's active. It's such a wishy-washy skill and you never know if it's active. If the clone's active, Trick of the Light's active. Easy fix, and it would actually be decent. It's like, what, 36% cryo damage? It could be more. I think it should be up to like 50 or even up to 100% or 75. 36 is a little bit low, but like the main reason this skill is bad is because you never know if it's active, and also it's just not active for random reasons all the time. Enhanced clone kills stack damage. The clone just needs buffed. The clone just needs fixed. His AI is bad with weapons. This on double barrel, this gun damage, you should just get this, not even for swapping, or maybe not you, but the clone. The clone should just get this damage. Barrier is just a better version of Like a Ghost. Exactly. Honestly, clone tree's not that bad. Get rid of these 3 skills that just suck, and then just buff clone so that he can actually do damage, which they said they're gonna do. At least when it comes to damage. I don't know what Like a Ghost could be, guys. I'm gonna be honest. But like, this needs to be something else. All right, now Green Tree. Green Tree, exactly unclonable. Green Tree is a huge meme. Best Surf Cold is bad. Futility Belt is bad. Nerves of Steel is bad. Rise to the Occasion, this is the best skill out of all the bad ones. It's actually pretty decent in Calm Cool Collected builds as well. So I'm not gonna say this is bad, but I think it's the best of the worst. Capstone is great when it works. The issue is it just doesn't work with a lot of stuff. I think they would literally need to go shield by shield and make it interact with this capstone somehow. That's the fix to this, in my opinion. And now let me tell you why these are bad. So Adrenaline is just not great cooldown, but the reason why this is bad is because, first of all, it's just not that great in general. And then second of all, with topped off, which is pretty early, 50 tokens, if you have topped off, Adrenaline gives you 1.5 seconds on your drone. So if topped off is active, then Adrenaline is giving you nothing. It gives you a second or less on your clone and your barrier. Thing is, cooldown just doesn't stack well. However, this is a tier 1 skill, and for early game, I can see the argument. I can see the argument for this. Hardy Stock is a straight up trap skill. This is a trap. You should never take Hardy Stock unless you're doing a very niche, like really big shield build. Unless you're doing that, this is full on a trap skill. It barely offers any survivability. It offers you 30% shields, which is almost nothing in this game. You guys all know that. But the thing is, it's a trap skill because it gives you bigger shields. You actually don't want bigger shields because you want Adrenaline active, you want Confident Competence active, you want Calm Cool Collected active. So this is actually just a straight up trap skill. One person gave me a very good fix to this skill, and it would be 10% shield effects, 10% bonus shield effects per level. For example, the one-shotter shield, you would get bonus amp damage. Or like a Transformer, you would get bonus bullet absorb. You get what I mean? It would make these abilities faster. 10% movement speed, well, it would be a bonus something percent. You know what I mean? So that would be a really cool change. I think like 10% per point would be fine, because that would take this from 30% to about 40%. And like, that's not broken for a tier 1 skill, especially because to get these shields, you're not in early game. Like, you don't get a bullet buffet stopgap anointed in early game. You know what I mean? Like, this is something you get late game. So it would balance itself in that sense. Stiff upper lip, damage reduction. First of all, I don't even know if this skill works. I've heard people say they tested this skill and it doesn't even work. But like, damage resistance is just so meh. Zane has barrier. It's just not that great. It's just kind of useless. I don't know what to say about it besides that. I don't even know what this could change to. Maybe they should just stay how it is. Best serve cold. We like this skill does 0 damage. There's no point of the skill. Once you're past, once you turn on mayhem, this skill is irrelevant. You know what would be really cool for this skill? Give it overkill. So you know how Amara has remnant? Just put that onto best serve cold. So not only would that create a cryonova that could actually do enough damage to freeze enemies, it would also scale well from early game to late game. Just all the above. Give this overkill. You could stick 1 point in here and it would actually be really cool. I don't even think you should just buff the damage. The issue with these flat damage numbers is if you buff the damage, it's broken early game. And then if they introduce new mayhem levels, it just needs to be buffed again. So my issue with flat damage, like novas with damage, that's my main issue with them. Utility belt. This skill is terrible. What this skill should be, all right, let me tell you why it's bad. So overall, futility belt is negative. Let's talk about it. So you have a shield and a health bar. When you're shielded, so you're weak to rad and you're weak to shock and you literally resist everything else. So 2 out of the 5 elements you're weak to and 3 out of the 5 elements you resist. If you use futility belt, it makes them all neutral. So you're not resisting anything anymore. And shock and rad is just neutral. And then when we talk about health, you're only weak to fire and then you resist everything else. Except for cryo and rad, I guess they're already neutral. But all it does is make fire neutral and then it makes 2 elements stronger. Does that make sense? So overall, the trade-off is negative for you. What I would change this skill to is if an enemy is affected by cryo. So if they're slowed or if they're frozen, but they could just also be slowed. So like, for example, if you're using a redistributor and you're chaining a bunch of cryo damage, they'll just be slowed. It doesn't freeze every enemy, but just give like 15% damage. So that would add V2. That would be a V2 damage multiplier. It would only be 15%. And I don't know, it would be cool. This tree also needs more damage, by the way, at least deeper in the tree. Deep in the tree, we need damage here. There's 0 damage in this tree, except for barrier itself. Finally, Nerves of Steel. This one's a really simple fix. Give crit damage. Add crit damage to this skill. You're keeping a full shield. You're getting accuracy. You're getting handling. And it makes so much sense to give this crit damage. Because what else are you going to do with that accuracy? So really, really simple fix for this one. Just give another multiplicative damage bonus. That would add 2 small to medium damage bonuses to this skill tree deep in it. And it would actually make it worth going down. In terms of damage. All right, where do we start? So all the augments suck. Not all of them. Some of them are okay. The best augment on the drone is not even an augment. It's literally drone delivery. Talk about these. Bad dose and static field are obviously the best. I think static field is fine. I don't think this needs changed. Maybe it should scale a little more with mayhem. That's debatable, but we're not really going to talk about this because I actually think this is a fine augment. Bad dose is just underwhelming. I'm not going to lie. I don't think I've ever actually noticed this active. I've never noticed enemies moving slower or attacking slower. 2% fire rate, 6% movement speed. Like, have any of you guys ever actually noticed this being active, or do you just pick it because everyone picks it and it says speed? Maybe buff it a little bit. Oh, if you made bad dose like a piss grenade. So like if you target your drone at an enemy, they take more damage. So it's kind of like a debuff. All right, Winter's drone. This might end up being good when they buff action skills. So if drone actually ends up doing damage, then this could be decent, like switching to cryo damage. So I don't know. Otherwise, I would like to just see this get more cryo efficiency so that I could potentially actually freeze enemies. Or just something along those lines. This is just underpowered for obvious reasons. When it comes to Boomsday, this kind of falls into the trap that I was talking about with Best Serve Cold. If you just buff the damage on here, it's either going to be broken, it's going to be broken early game, and then if they add more mayhem levels, you're just going to need to buff it again. So I kind of don't like straight up damage skills unless maybe it's scaled with mayhem. If they make it scale with mayhem, then that would be a good fix. Otherwise, I would act, what I recommended for changing this to was changing this to death follows close, but for drone augments. So if you pick a drone augment and you pick Boomsday, that specific drone augment would like double in power. So you would gain double shields back with static field. You would freeze enemies all the time with Winter's drone. You would actually notice your movement speed from bad dose and the fire rate. It would actually slow enemies a lot more. So that was my recommendation for Boomsday. If this just scaled with Mayhem, I think it could be fine anyway. So there's like a couple fixes that you could do with this. Now, let's talk about Almighty Ordnance. This is my favorite augment fix on everything. If none of my ideas ever happened except for this one, I want this one to go through. So first of all, I talked about this a second ago with Good Misfortune, how Almighty Ordnance gives you action skill uptime. It says it resets the Sentinel's duration if you get a kill. Once again, so it does give uptime, but it's just really bad. So no one's ever going to use it because it's just really bad. You can only get it once. You can only use this once per Sentinel uptime, which makes no sense in the skill trees that have Calm Cool Collected or Good Misfortune Seein Dead. Your drone doesn't go down. So this makes no sense. So number one, change that to a kill skill. Make it so that you don't have Almighty Ordnance active until you trigger it, which you would trigger it all the time with Seein Dead, and without Seein Dead, you would trigger it occasionally. And then you can shoot it, and then it's down again, and then you can re-trigger it. So it would kind of be like Guardian Angel. You know how Guardian Angel has the little symbol? And whenever Almighty Ordnance's symbol is up, you can use it. Does that make sense? Now, what I would change this to is, once again, it just has a damage number. It's going to be broken early levels. If they add more Mayhem, they're going to have to buff it again. Get rid of the rockets. Get rid of the damage. This should throw like 2 or 3 of your grenade mod. That's what everyone wants. We want to throw grenades. This would work really well with fish slaps and cut purse. This would work really well with recurring hex grenades. This would actually trigger like Seein Dead more times. That would be awesome. You could throw piss grenades. So I don't know. Big reveal. That's my big reveal of what I would change this to. Let this throw grenades and let it be triggered on kill skills. All right, barrier. Barrier is very simple. None of these augments work when you pick up your barrier. I don't know. If you pick up your barrier, you get half this bonus. I don't care. Just like, let me use these. They want Zane to think on their teammates. Okay, and that's cool, but why are there 3 out of 5 augments that help my teammates and not me? But anyways, yeah. Why do I have to stand still, especially when there's a skill that gives me damage for not standing still? So it's just anti-synergy, easy fix. All right, finally, we have clone augments. These aren't too terrible. Doppelbanger, make the time a little bit faster. So many people say they hate waiting 5 seconds for this. I think it's only 4 seconds, but like, yeah, just cut that in half. Make this 2 seconds. I think that would be fine. Schadenfreude, this is a good skill. This works pretty well. I do get a lot of shield from this. This is good. Which one is real? I would like to see this work a little bit better. I think somebody tested this skill and they said the radius is small, so enemies that are far away from you actually won't focus your clone. And then also they stop focusing your clone very fast. So I would like to just see this skill work a little bit better. If they could just tweak some of the numbers inside. Finally, we have binary system and digital distribution. Now, digital distribution didn't really work when the game first came out. I do want to say, I think I was using this last week or 2 weeks ago, and it was pretty decent. I would have to test or maybe come up with something cooler that this could be. I'm not 100% sure how they could change this, because I don't know. It just kind of like, it makes your clone die. And people who play the clone, unless they're blowing him up with Doppelbanger, you don't really want your clone to die. You know what I mean? And then finally, we have binary system. You know what this should do? This should just, this should let you instant fucking transmission with your clone. Just literally, you can spam swap with your clone over and over and over. You could spam swap as many times as you want. No 5-second cooldown. No, not even freeze. Just take away the Nova. Just let you spam swap with your clone. But yeah, so many people hate the clone swap cooldown. And this, I think everybody would take this augment if it removed the cooldown. taking that clone cooldown away is such a quality of life thing that I think this would be the only one played if it got changed to that, and it should. To make the clone invincible, why can it die? It's a hologram. It makes sense, and I kind of like that it can die, honestly. And if you build towards it, I don't think clone survivability is bad, to be honest with you. Between quick breather, boom enhance, and like giving your clone a stopgap or a transformer, his survivability is honestly good in my opinion. It's just his damage that is bad. Like these 3 skills work very well. These 3 clone skills. There's just like not a good reason to play double barrel besides just doing it for no reason. Like I don't feel like I'm missing out by not playing this skill. You know what I mean? And I like to have trade-offs. So like if I want to go all the way into blue tree, well now I have to sacrifice this skill. Like I don't get to use this skill, and that should feel bad. But right now that doesn't feel bad. So there's no trade-off. And quickly we can mention some class mods. Obviously this is the best class mod ever. Cold Warrior, we could change it to like literally anything else, literally an icebreaker. Conductor is a pretty decent class mod in my opinion. It gives you a decent chunk of damage in the fact that it's a bonus element, and I like the uptime skills on it, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, if we saw all those other changes to the skill trees, then a lot of the old class mods would work better as well. Because the thing is, like, and that's originally what I started this conversation with, is that Seein Dead is a band-aid. Instead of doing all these fixes I talked about, they made Seein Dead, and now Zane works. So that's like one main issue with all the old class mods as well. The other thing is like Cold Warrior doesn't do shit. It just adds a small dot. Techspurt is bad. Shock Raider is bad. I don't have to tell you guys why. The only good ones are the Violent Momentum class mods, and it's not even because of the effect. Although Infiltrator is cool. But let me mention Antifreeze. Antifreeze is actually a terrible class mod. Do you want to know why it's good and why like I would tell you to use Antifreeze over an Infiltrator? Antifreeze is only good because it's a legendary Violent Momentum class mod that you can wear an Amp Shield. You can't really do that with Infiltrator the way it is. And that's the only reason Antifreeze is good, is because it has Violent Momentum on it. But the effect of it is bad. Like, it should give us cryo immunity. It should actually let you run forever, which is in the name. And Infiltrator, the effect of it is unique. Infiltrator is good because it has Violent Momentum on it, so you can get a ton of damage out of it. And the effect of it is very unique. And yes, it does take away your shields, but once again, if a lot of the old stuff was fixed, then the class mods would work a lot better, just straight up. Like I don't want Infiltrator to get changed. I would want all those other fixes in the skill trees. Because then I could potentially make a good Infiltrator build. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed that video, don't forget to drop a like on it and subscribe to the channel for more Borderlands 3 videos. That's going to be it for me. I'll see you in the next one. I'm out.